Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Hearthstone. So today we're going to do some more laddering with my Spellsword rogue deck, but we're going to showcase one particular change I made, and in fact I've only made one change since last time. The Acidic Swamp Ooze is still in. I still find that to be quite valuable and good. It's doing its purpose, but the Abomination is gone. The Abomination was not ever useful even once in my gameplay testing with it. And it just was not a nice addition. Instead, the Big Game Hunter is the new addition, and it has proven its value multiple times. It was amazing. I put it in the deck, and the very first game that I played with it, it was against a Control Warrior, and it just so happened that I top-decked him as soon as the opponent had played his Ragnaros, and so I killed it. And then he played some other cards that I just had answers to. And I think that in having him in there, it really did change the pace of the game. It eliminated one more of the warrior's threats, and it allowed me to overcome it. Since then, I haven't tested very much. I mean, that's what the purpose of this video is by and large, is to put this guy through his paces. But in the matches that I have played, he's been very effective. Even when it hasn't been against something like a heavy control deck, he still passes the vanilla test. He's still a 4-2 for 3, which is not a bad deal. And he is not a bad force on the board, especially when you have control already. So this is a very welcome addition in my mind, and we'll see tonight whether or not he actually does work as well as my first impressions have showed me that he does. So, let's get right into it. Here we go. Okay, so, first things first, up against a Mage. Okay, so we have a decent hand here. Now, I've had some questions about mulliganing strategies with this deck, and my answer is you want to not have cards like Headcrack in your first one. That's really a late game card, and you want to really go for early game minions. The Sen'jin Shieldmast is excellent, but against a Mage it probably isn't going to be necessary right away. And more importantly, it's not an early game playable card. The Acidic Swamp Ooze is great, especially against a Mage, no weapons, so you don't have to worry about sort of hiding it to play later. So that's going to be our strategy for this prone. What you really want is not this at all. You want early drop minions. So, unfortunately we're going to pass early on, but that's alright. That's pretty common.
The light protects me.
There we go, Argent Squire. So we will answer with an Acidic Swamp Ooze. It's a great answer because she can't really kill it for free, although she can Fire Blast it and lose the shield, which she will do. In this turn, barring something better, and that is not better, we're going to answer with a Perdition's Blade, just because it's nice and efficient.
Here we go.
Now I don't have a compelling 4-drop yet. I would like one. The Shieldmaster would be nice. In lieu of that, though, well, we have a couple of options. Well, let's see what the Mage does. I don't really want to drop the Big Game Hunter because I do know that the Mage may well run something bigger. And in fact, yeah. So this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I don't want to play the Big Game Hunter. I also don't really want to blow Eviscerate. I could hit this with the Perdition's Blade, and use a second Perdition's Blade to bring it down to the 2-1. But that seems a little bit wasteful.
So many.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else really to do here. I could make my own daggers, I could hit it and make my own daggers, but that doesn't really do anything, and I don't really want to blow an Eviscerate, so perhaps, and that just dies immediately to the 2 attack. That's a really good trade for him. So, I think we actually are going to do that first plan that I had. That's not a pleasant plan, but so be it. We have a Gadgetzan Auctioneer next turn. And that's That's excellent. It's less excellent because we're a rogue, so we do like to use our weapons. But by the same token, it's nice just on the level of that's not being used against a creature. Now I could put out the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, but I could also eviscerate and combo. And that's a good question. Let's see. I mean, what would I do? I would use the eviscerate. I guess I would use the eviscerate against the harvest golem, I suppose, and then I would use the SI7 against the this because I don't have any spell power. Alternately, I could just put out this. This is a tough one, but I think I do want to get rid of one of the creatures, and it's sad that she did freeze me because I would like to kill that myself. But so let's do this, and we'll do this.
This guy's tough.
Not ideal. Okay, is this going to be the other Frostbolt? Nope, Water Elemental. Okay. Just going to go right for my face. Okay, now this is of course the point at which I really would have liked to have kept the Eviscerate, especially having drawn the backstab. That's okay though. We are going to play this, and we are going to backstab something. Let me see. The Water Elemental is very annoying, but I'm not sure it's worth... well, I know...
Hey, lights out.
So that's what we're going to do there. And I think we are going to do this. And so the backstab has to go up against the Water Elemental.
Job's done.
Excellent. So now the Gadgetzan Auctioneer has his value. Even if he draws one card, that's a bonus. And the SI7 agent has its value because it's traded with one creature, even though it was only 1 mana. It's got its card value, so this is good at the moment. Now, where she will hit with the Water Elemental is interesting. I could take it out with the Gadgetzan Auctioneer. She's going to coin out a Flame Strike, is what she's going to do. Yeah, wow. Huh. Well, that's interesting. So we're just going to do the obvious play here. I don't think I like that play on her part. I say her, it's probably a guy, but it's a female hero. And we like to live in the world of the roleplay, so we will call it that I am fighting against Jaina and not the guy with the name that is a fun thing to pronounce. Polymorphing this engine shield master, so she's really trying to rush me down here. Likely because she has fireballs or a pyroblast, is what my... Oh, okay. Trading. Sure. Okay. So the best way to do this, I guess, would be to take this out myself, and then with the sheep.
Here we go.
1 and 2. So now's the question. Do I put out the big game hunter? And I think the answer is that on an open board, I do. I wish this was turn 9 and I could play the Malagos, but let's do this. Mages don't tend to run anything huge. Maybe she has a Ragnaros, but it's also an open board, so it's a threat. This is going to be an Arcane Missile or Arcane Explosion, maybe.
Shields up.
Oh, no, she's desperate.
Well played.
Well played. So I wonder what that means. Okay, well, we're going to put out Malagos, I think. The Fan of Knives isn't going to help. And I think I'm actually, as ridiculous as this is, I'm going to trade the big game hunter for the Sun Fury because she clearly has Pyroblasts or something in her hand. And I don't want her to get the extra 2 damage. I think she probably has double Fireball, actually. Because the Sun Fury, she was expecting me to hit over her head. Polymorphing Malagos. Yep. That is unfortunate, because the Fan of Knives would have killed that Water Elemental. So, like so, backstab and Fan of Knives. And Fan of Knives. And trade, double trade.
I fight.
That is almost certainly a Pyroblast.
Here we go.
It's a weird game now. And it's a dicey one, frankly. I mean, we have half the health, and mages have a lot of instant burst down mechanics for something like this. Yeah, there's the first fireball. And presumably what she has in her hand is a Pyroblast. Maybe not. But this does not look good.
Here we go.
Job done.
Oops.
Let the pain
Acolyte of Pain, yeah. Which she'll get at least 2 cards out of. Maybe even 3. There we go. Maybe she was just texting or something. Blood Knight. That's sort of what I wanted to see right now.
Glory to the Sindora.
Okay, so... Well, at this point, I don't want to give her cards at all. I really, really don't. So I think the thing to do is this. And then I think the thing to do is to... yeah, the thing is, if she has another fireball, though, I'm done. So, the Yeti will try to attack me. I'm certainly not going to attack the Yeti. I'm just going to trade the Argent Squire so that he can trade with the Azure Drake. The likelihood here is that we're going to lose. Very overwhelming likelihood that we will lose. But she won't have the Yeti next turn if she keeps it. And I do have Headcrack, just continually working her down. Flame Strike, yep. Okay. Very tense. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. I can hit her, which I will. At the end of it, I mean, I can hit her, and she'll go down to 8, but she's got me dead. So, that was a close game, but unfortunately there's very little I can do about this. Yep, that makes sense. So you know what? The interesting reflection to make there is that, so a lot of people have been asking me about Malygos. Malygos is like, it's the primary flavor card for this deck. It really is. I love Malygos. I think he's a really cool card. He's rarely included in decks. A lot of people have been asking about him. Not just because they don't have him, you know, is there a replacement for Ragnaros, but also, or for Malygos rather, but also because he's only very situationally effective. And so you know what? To the people who have been commenting on that, to their credit, if the Malygos in that game was a Ragnaros, I might have won. And so, what we're going to do, I'm actually going to change this here. For the purposes of testing in this episode, and I'm not committed to this, but for the purposes of testing, I am going to take Malygos out, and we're going to try Ragnaros. Just to see what it's like. I could do Ysera, but I frankly think that if we're going to switch to another legendary, Ragnaros is just much more effective. Truly and really. So, we're going to do one more game here. Well, we're going to do several more games, and we're going to give that a shot and see how it works. Okay, so up against a Warlock. Common matchup on the ladder these days.
You're back.
Okay, so mulligan strategies. So we don't know what type of Warlock it is, but we're going to play as though he's being extremely aggressive. And the reason we're going to play that way is because even if he's not being aggressive, even if it's a handlock, we would love to get early game board presence and board advantage. This is not bad. I think with the coin especially, we're gonna keep this. We have an early game creature and we have a Perdition's Blade, which with the coin is always excellent. So I think we're in a good place, and that's okay. Yeah, that's an excellent draw. It even theoretically fits a perfect curve of turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and then coin turn 4. But we'll go from there. Okay. So we are indeed dealing with some type of aggressive play. one thing to do that would be quite interesting would be to just immediately eviscerate that. The Argent Squire isn't going to do a whole lot for me here, but then again, if I take 3 damage, that's okay. Getting a creature on the board's not a bad thing to do, especially if I draw Blood Knight. Probably, though, he'll just go right over my head. He won't waste it, because that Argent Commander, or Argent Squire, rather, is capable of killing that flame imp with the shield. Okay, yeah, this is pretty standard. Beautiful. So, we can be really fancy, and we can backstab the flame imp, and we can then coin out the Perdition's Blade, and we can kill the Voidwalker without having destroyed our Argent Squire. The other thing we can do is backstab and eviscerate.
So many options.
That's a tough question. I think we are going to... Well, we're going to backstab no matter what. And... let's actually get out the Perdition's Blade. No, I don't want to use the coin this early, actually. I am just going to eviscerate and move on.
I fight.
The key with a Warlock deck like this is you just have to control like a demon. You just have to make sure you're on top of everything. Any card he plays, and that's an excellent sign. Flame Imp and Voidwalker tend to not be in very aggressive... tend to not be in controlling decks very much.
I fight.
So the fact that he had to take a turn off of his pace to life tap there is excellent for us. Oh! Oh geez. Okay. Maybe it's actually a handlock after all. That's so weird. So we can coin into a Drake here, which is not a terrible idea. We could also coin... we could Perdition's Blade to have it to 5, and then we could coin into an Eviscerate and then trade this. That's actually... that'll do. So we're going to do this. That way we have the blade out as well. Eviscerate and trade with the Squire. So, frankly, any Warlock deck, you just want to out-pressure them. If they're rushing really hard, you control their whole deck so they never get a presence, and if they are control-oriented, you want to still clear their board, you want to out-aggro them. Huh. So this has got to be a control lock. This has got to be a hand lock. This is quite the experience here. Now in this case I'm actually not going to... I'm not going to clear that. I could clear that by sacrificing both of my creatures and hitting it myself. Well then again, clearing it like that, it leaves me with 4 on the table. I can hit him for 4 this turn. I'm sacrificing 6 damage on him to do 6 damage to the Drake. Well, okay, so this is one of those critical decision-making processes that, to be honest, I'm not a good enough player to really have the nuance of. So I'm actually going to not kill the Drake, and instead I'm actually just going to attack him. Down to 12 health makes him really scared to life tap, which is what makes Warlocks quite effective. I have a Sinjin. He will trade that, that's fine, he'll go for 2 for 1. He's got a Yeti, which is big and beefy, and that's going to be a Demon Fire. Okay. So I could have traded those things, and it would have left me with a 4-4 on the table. And it might have been the stronger option. Okay, so we are going to Sinjin and Daggers for the purpose of doing exactly this, and clearing the Twilight Drake. That's simple. I'm glad that we have the Big Game Hunter in hand. Assuredly Giants will be coming soon, although this seems to be a really weird thing he's got going on here. There's nothing worth big gaming here, and I can't hit anything with the daggers effectively. The Sinjin would be a good delay tactic. I would have liked to have played the Azure Drake, though. Hopefully he plays something big and juicy this turn, like like any sort of giant. I'd feel comfortable putting in the big game hunter with the Azure Drake. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Huh. Oh, well, that's good. You've got rid of the other Soulfire. Huh. Well, that just became easier. That was a really quick fortuitous draw, although we'll wait. That's also quite a fortuitous draw. So, we're going to kill the Yeti. And I guess we're going to backstab the Dread Infernal. That can be cleared by either of my creatures, so we're not going to do anything about it with the dagger. It's just going to stay like this. This is a scary space, though. He has less health, but he has much more board presence. He can hit me this turn for, 11, plus whatever he's got in his hand. If he had Hellfire, he wins. I hadn't quite realized that, but this is actually a scary position. I will absolutely be trading my minions with his next turn if he lets me. He's gonna do it for me. See, I would have considered that to be the wrong choice in a lot of ways. He's Sarah. Okay, this is a really weird Warlock deck.
Hey, lights out.
So that one's easy. Increasingly, though, I'm going to lose this. We are going to take out either one of the 2/1s, that's fine. And I very much fear playing the big game hunter, because aside from the fact that it's a free trade, I just don't think he may well have another big legendary there, so I'm scared. Thing is, he's got this. If he can do 1 damage to me, he wins. Of course, he did lose his other Soulfire, so I know he doesn't have either one. No, he's actually going to trade. It's going to be 6 and then power. Oh, there's the other one. Okay, very good. Oh, it's just for fun. Cool. Okay, up against a Warlock. Alright, so for mulliganing, we do not want any of those cards except the SI7 agent. The SI7 agent I'm only keeping because with the coin you can combo very well into him on turn 2. Lots and lots of value. And that turned into a good hand. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and emergencies. So, okay, so he is not a, well, if he's a scary, aggressive Warlock, he did not show it on turn 1, which is pretty rare, so it's probably a handlock. It's certainly a handlock. We will be coining out the SI7 agent for the purpose of damaging him and just getting another minion on the table.
This guy's toast.
We're going to try to be as aggressive as humanly possible right now, and so we're going to put out the Scarlet Crusader next. And I hope for a Sinjin coming up. The Mountain Giant will be coming in soon, I'm sure. Okay. Interesting. I'm always quite confused by that play. An early Sun Fury with nothing to do. I suppose it's a minion. And maybe he's trying to bait this so he can Mortal Coil it. Yeah. I think I'm not going to listen to him, though.
Hey,
I think we're just going to go right over his head. He's a control Warlock, and so he wants to defend, and he wants to control, and so I am not going to let him. Or at the very least, I'm going to try not to. There's the Mortal Coil. Yeah, so he would have done that anyway. Yep, so that's fine. It's worth it. Golden Ancient Watcher. And that is an excellent card to have drawn. I'm thinking Fan of Knives for the card draw, simply because I'm not going to need it for a lot of area damage, I would imagine. Backstab would have been nice to be able to do first, but that's fine. It'll be good for bigger taunt minions when they come out. This is an instance, I have to say, where I'm sure Ragnaros will probably be more useful than Malygos.
Shields up.
So we will end up doing the double trade here.
I got the best deals anywhere.
I'm going to do this just for the card draw. Good. Good.
Hey, lights out.
I can't do that.
Siphon Soul on the Gadget Sound. That's great. And it's bad because, you know, I lost the Gadget Sound, he lost a turn, and he has no answer to Ragnaros. So that's really, really good. No mana efficient thing to do this turn, outside of Blood Knight Headcrack, but I would rather have an Azure Drake. Cool. The Ogre Magi can be put down in that Headcrack for 4 next turn, would be delightful. Shadow Bolt. Okay. This is good. If this is indeed a traditional handlock, I'm making him sweat, because by now he should have giants and taunts and all this sort of stuff, but he's actually wasting a lot of his... Or not wasting, but I mean he's playing a lot of cards that he normally would not need to, in my experience anyway. So Ogre Magi Headcrack was the plan, but at this point I'm thinking maybe even Ogre Magi Eviscerate, although that's wasteful because I know bigger things are coming up. Yeah. Oh, for really bigger things I do have the Big Game Hunter, and Ragnaros is coming up next turn. So let's get rid of it. I would love for him to play just sort of a big giant, and that's it this turn. Well, in a way I would, and in a way I wouldn't. Big Game Hunter would solve that. But Ragnaros is going to hit the field next turn, basically, regardless. That'll be a Sun Fury, or another Earth and Rain, okay. Setting up some taunts for next turn. So, before I put that down, let's see here. Basically the only other play is Blood Knight, Acidic Swamp Ooze, and Headcrack. Could do Ogre Magi Headcrack inefficiently for 4, and then hit him for 4, and that's 8. That's not bad, but Ragnaros is just better. I love that they changed the animation on him. He's really good. And I do want to rush him down, but I also want Ragnaros to hit the Ancient Watcher rather than him, I think. So I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. Perfect. Now, I sense a Soul Siphon coming. That would be the worst case. The best case is that he lives for any amount of turns. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. And if he gets the Soul Siphon out, then it means then he doesn't have any more, so that's not bad. I don't think he would hesitate if he had one, so it should come soon. He's thinking about something. Leroy Jenkins? What the hell deck is this? This is very strange. Oh, wow. That was very controlling. That's, what a weird play. What a weird deck he's got. Okay. Well, I suppose the thing to do is put some creatures out now that he's blown what I assume to be his only Shadow Flame. So, I'm going to put down this and the Acidic Swamp Ooze. And then, I suppose what we'll do is Headcrack. Could put down the Blood Knight, but I think we're gonna wait. This is a waiting game, and I actually have card advantage at the moment. I don't feel uncomfortable with where I am. I have answers. I have the Big Game Hunter. I've got Taunt. generally speaking, I have tools at the moment. And I have board presence. There's the Molten Giant. Get ready for value. Oh, get ready for mad value. Mad value is about to happen.
I've got the beast in my sight.
So mad value item number 1, and mad value item number 2. There we go. So next turn, he's extremely, extremely dead if he doesn't wipe my board, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility. He could play another Molten Giant if he had one. He could, for free. He could also Shadow Flame that Molten Giant and clear my entire board and leave me in a very bad place. This would also do that. If he had Shadow Flame. There we go, there's another one. Yep. Yep. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So, so much for mad value. So, we will put out what we have, knowing that he has no more board clears, and we will work him down. We have Headcrack. He has Life Tap. He doesn't have a lot of heals. He may have one more Soul Siphon. How many cards do we have? 10 more. So likely he'll have a Soul Siphon. I've got 12 more. In there is some spells. I don't think I've used both of my Eviscerates. Then what else? I know I haven't used my Fan of Knives.
Possibilities.
Not that that would be especially useful, but the Eviscerate would be.
My shield for Argus.
Golden Defender of Argus, I think that's a first for me. Yeah, he's on a timer. He only has 3 more turns to live. If I don't have Eviscerate.
Shield for Argus.
Oh, wow. Wow. There goes the Mountain Giant. Okay. Wow. So, gee, there are not a lot of options I've got here. Let's see, how much damage? He does 11 damage to me a turn, which means I have a theoretically 2-turn life, or two lives to 2 turns to live. So Headcrack, yeah, I mean, I basically have to do this.
This guy's toast.
The daggers aren't going to help me. I'm not going to attack anything to keep this going. And he has 2 turns, essentially. I really, really want my Eviscerate. That would pretty much do this. I will be embarrassed if I go back and watch this video and find that I've spent both Eviscerates, but I'm pretty sure I have not. It would be tempting to get rid of that creature. Perdition's Blade. Okay, can we do this turn? 4 health. Yes. Yes, we can. Headcrack.
Well played.
And Perdition's Blade. Beautiful. Wow. That was a tough one. But I would argue that the change the Big Game Hunter did very well for us there. It took out one of the big giants, and that matters. In a game against a handlock like that, well, I struggle to call him a handlock. That was a really strange deck, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm just saying that because a lot of handlock matches I play tend to revolve around only Twilight Drakes and Giants, and Defenders of Argus and that sort of thing, because they happen so rapidly. But nonetheless, I think that the Big Game Hunter very much helped the late game there. I think that it was very strong in the late game, and I think if it weren't, put it this way, if it weren't for the Big Game Hunter, and if I had an Abomination or a Violet Teacher in there, I would not have won that game. Also, I think Ragnaros probably also contributed to that as well. Killing that one creature, probably, it doesn't look very significant, but I think that it did probably do something. So, not bad. Needs more testing, so let's do some more testing. Okay. So, we are up against a hunter.
Watch your
So, we are going to mulligan very aggressively. It pains me to do this because, sort of, in a lot of ways, I just want to do this. But I think that I need to get rid of this. I do struggle with this, though. The Fan of Knives could be so useful if it's a rush deck, and it's an early card draw if I have no other options. If it's a control deck, then it won't matter. So, yeah, I think I have to keep the Fan of Knives against the Hunter, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I get the Scarlet Crusader back. This is not a good hand if it's a Rush Hunter. My Argent Squires and the like just have not been coming through for me lately. Yep. Okay. This is going to be probably pretty devastating because I just don't have a hand. I'm going to control this because I have to. He got his value out of that, right? 4 damage out of a Leper Gnome is brilliant. But it's not about that. It's actually about making sure that he has no board presence at all. I'll kill that with my hands too if I have to, although I'm more tempted to use Fan of Knives. Backstab would be perhaps overkill, although then again, no, it wouldn't be because it allows me to get presence on the board. So I am actually going to backstab. Maybe I'm overreacting to the perceived aggression here, but I think that I really do want board presence, and I want to get out there and be equally as aggressive right back. Yep. Yeah, he's going right for my face. So we will put up a Sengen to stop this. Or not. Or we'll put up a Blood Knight to stop this.
Glory to the Sindora.
Now the question to me is, do I hit him in the face and be super aggressive? I don't think I do. I think I kill that creature. Now if he has a deadly shot, that's unfortunate, but it's also a turn wasted for him. I think he probably doesn't though. He's going to coin into 5, which is going to mean an Abomination. That is super weird. Okay. So, how do we deal with this? Unfortunately, I don't have anything that is ideal in this scenario. Best I got right now is a Sengen, and unfortunately I'm not playing that. Because if I kill it, he does 2 damage to everybody. I don't have a Silence, which would be really nice. Turns out that Abominations are uniquely good against creatures that have exactly 6 health. Okay. And is he going to suicide into my Blood Knight?
Get in there and fight, maggot.
No. No. Okay. However, what he will do is allow me to do this. Now, do I sap? Yeah, well, we're gonna sap. And then I guess what we're gonna do, we could Fan of Knives, but I think we're just gonna SI7 Agent.
Ha, this guy's toast.
For Lorthamar.
Job's done.
Now, he's probably gonna put it right back down, which leaves me with the same problem. But I still have a 3-3 on the board. It'll be a 3-1. But so be it. I've never seen a Hunter run an Abomination. It seems so counterintuitive. Okay. Bluegill Warrior. Wow, okay. So this is a pretty clear Azure Drake. And I actually daggers. Just because I don't want to put down the Ooze when I don't need to, and right now I don't need to. I'll probably put down the Abomination now, I would imagine. Oh, okay, Animal Companion.
Mind if I roll need?
Sure. He's probably going to start, he's just going to rush me. I will Fan of Knives next turn if he does. Yeah, okay. But Ragnaros is so tempting. But it will not do. Now hang on. So what is my play? Fan of Knives, SI7, and new daggers, I guess? I don't want to have Unleash the Hounds material in the extreme, so... Yeah. Yeah, SI7 agent, I guess. Or I could just head crack. I mean, if I'm scared about minions,
Hey, lights out.
because maybe that is the thing to do. I have him low enough.
Go.
I could Thalnos head crack, and that's 4. He'll be down to 8, and that's within 1 for Ragnaros. So let's do that. I know that he has an Abomination and whatever else, so if he only has Unleash the Hounds, he can't kill me. Now, if it's Unleash the Hounds and Timberwolf, maybe? Even still, that's only 6 damage. If I clear the board and play Ragnaros, I win.
What we do.
Yep, I win. Yep. Do I win anyway? Yes is the answer. I win in a lot of ways. Oh, no I don't. Okay, that's funny. But I do have the daggers, so it's actually irrelevant.
Hey, lights out.
Okay, just tune everyone, and head crack, and done. So Ragnaros did not help there, but he would have, but he could have. He would have clinched the game for me, and in fact, if it was Malagos, it would not have helped at all. So, in that case, Ragnaros was superior. Duly noted. Alright, next game.
Valera versus
Okay, yet another hunter.
Let the hunt begin.
Watch your back.
Okay, so mulligan-wise, we're going to keep the Blood Knight. I think we're going to keep the backstab and do this. Because I do have the coin, so that's a turn 2 play if I need it to be. That's great against early aggression. Eviscerate is also good, but I want creatures more than I want Eviscerate. So, and that's not a great hand. But I do have the coin, so I do have playable stuff. Tracking, okay. That doesn't tell me what type of hunter it is, to be fair. It could be rush or not with tracking. They tend to both run, in my experience. Okay, so we're gonna steady shot. I think coining out a Blood Knight is probably best. The big game hunter could be effective right now because it's 4-2 and early days, he won't get killed immediately, but this seems very slow for a hunter. So I'm actually gonna play it safe. He might have big things at the end, and maybe I'll be happy to have him. But then again, if I don't have another play next turn, I will certainly be playing the big game hunter. He is a control hunter. If that was sheer removal, he would not have done that if he was rushing. Okay. So I mean, that actually, I could potentially have done something useful with the big game hunter in late game, but by the same token, yeah, I don't usually think they run big cards like that, and he's going so slowly. Okay, so I think Perdition's Blade is appropriate here. More appropriate than a backstab, I think. And more appropriate than Fan of Knives. It's certainly more appropriate than Thalnos Sap, so we're going to do that.
Gotcha.
If he's controlling this hard, then we are going to start putting on the pressure as hard as we can. That's the trade. That's the thing to take home, I think. When looking at me doing videos of these decks, the thing to take home is you've got to play this deck adaptively. And so what that means is if you face rush, you've got to control very hard. And if you're facing control, you have to rush, or at the very least you have to be very aggressive and put the pressure on. Oh, look at that. It's the first person I've seen in a while with that. Okay, now I think what we're going to do is backstab the Sun Fury, and Fan of Knives. I could Thalnos, and we're gonna Thalnos to do that, so we kill everything. Now it just sort of doesn't make sense to, it almost makes the Fan of Knives sort of irrelevant, but I don't think I'm going to need it in any other case, and I would like some better cards. I could also put out the Scarlet Crusader and backstab this to death. Double backstab. Yeah. He'll still run Unleash the Hound, so I'm still wary about it. I think we are going to Fan of Knives for card draw, because I don't think he's ever going to flood the board very hard with this deck. Iron Mikau. Okay. To be fair, that is one of the better cards you could silence in my deck. There are not many other cards that are vulnerable to silence. Some of the spell power ones, I suppose. And the Divine Shield minions, I guess, but that only takes away a little bit of their value. Now Thalnos is just going to trade, because there's no reason to keep him. I think this is the reasonably clear play.
Gotcha.
Another owl. Okay. Okay. Question is, do I win this turn? And I don't think I do. Let me see here. No, I don't. Well, okay, so we're going to put out... I guess we're going to put out the Shield Master just because I think we have to. We're going to... Hold on. So 6, that's 10 damage. 10 damage puts him in range of an Eviscerate. And I think to prevent from good trades, and since we're so close, I am actually going to backstab that. And I will hit him as well, just to make it really, really unambiguously low. Now any of my creatures can kill him, no problem. That was not what he was hoping for, although then again maybe it was. He was probably hoping for Misha. Everyone always hopes for Misha. Misha is by far the best companion pet. Okay, there we go. So, that was... Oh, there we go, win streak. Perfect. That didn't seem very tough. That was actually a fairly easy game. The Rush Hunter was harder. He just seemed like he didn't have that effective of a control deck, but maybe it's just because we're good against Hunter control. Not sure. Anyway, great. So that's a win streak. Let's do another game, at least before we give it in for the evening. Once more a hunter. Man, we are not getting a whole lot of variation in classes today, are we? Okay, so against a hunter, this is not going to be good. This is fine. This is fine. This isn't. I really do want creatures, though. Not those creatures, but they'll do. I do have the coin. He was so ready to play that card. He seems... Oh! Well, that's a weird first play, but I guess that's because he has a 1 minion. Well, I could coin into Knives to kill him, but I really think that's not worth it when I can coin into an SI7 agent next turn, so we're just going to pass. And that's hardly worth a backstab. Oh yeah. We are super rush. You know, I could coin SI7, but I'm actually going to coin Fan of Knives, because I can backstab SI7 next turn if necessary.
Job's done.
Key with a Rush Hunter, as I've said basically every time I've fought one, on camera anyway, is you have to control them. You have to control them very hard. And this deck is quite able at doing that, I've found. Okay, so that's one of the best things possible. I'm going to put out the Big Game Hunter because he's I have nothing to combo the SI7 with, and that will become more useful. I noticed in the last game I put out the Blood Knight first and then the Big Game Hunter, but I actually find... No, that's an explosive trap, of course, so that's just going to kill him outright. But he doesn't have a bow to take it up, so that's fine.
Gotcha.
Not pleasant, though. Oh, misdirection. That's fine, too. I'm happy with that. Although, to be fair, I'm not happy with it on the level that he is a rush hunter and he's trying to burn me down. I guess the thing to do here is SI7.
Ha, this guy's toast.
That has to be an explosive shot.
I feel icky.
We will certainly backstab the Leper Gnome. And I think the play here is the Azure Drake, but it will be after we pop the trap, that's for sure. Now the question here is, do we attack with the 3-3 or the 4-2? If it's misdirection, it's sort of irrelevant,
Hey,
except that...
lights out.
Yeah, okay. So he'll hit me. Which is exactly what he wants. He wants to rush me down. Although, to be fair, it looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of cards, and it looks like he's... I don't want to say running out of steam, because 6 mana hunter with 4 cards is hardly running out of steam, but he might be ill-equipped to deal with what's on the board, I suppose is the best way to say it. Unless he's got the Unleash the Hounds combo, which is certainly possible. Yep. Now he doesn't have Starving Buzzard, which is good. Oh wow, he doesn't have anything. He would have put down the Timberwolves. He's desperate. He also thinks it's very close. So that's an explosive shot, I'm sure. I wish I had this engine shoot. Oh, how about that? Okay. Well, so that's not going to be... This is not misdirection, so I'm going to hit with this. It's gotta be explosive, yep. We have to play this engine. And I guess we have to... I mean, we can eviscerate him. Thing is, it is so likely that I'm going to die. He's done a really good job of rushing me down. So I suppose any bit of damage helps.
Hey, lights out.
And I suppose if I kill one of the dogs, it will help. Yeah, what the hell? We're so low.
Job's done. Well played.
Yeah, kill shot, I'm sure.
Ready to
Kill command. Oh. So he's going to clear the board, yeah. And then he's got another charge minion, Bluegill and City. Oh, Arcane Golem. Yep, that'll do too. Okay. Ah, that's so sad. That was a very quick end to the win streak. Those two, you know what? Those two misdirects were actually entirely pivotal there. The two misdirections completely did it for me. Alright, well, let's do one more game, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. Warrior. We've just hit all the very popular classes tonight. Mage, Warlock, Hunter, and Warrior now. So, again, we're going to mulligan as though he is very aggressive, because he may well be. So this is gone, this is gone. Yeah, backstab is the only thing we're actually going to keep here. Okay, you know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. That beats an early Fiery War Axe play. Gives me something to play in the first turn, too. So this is not terrible.
The light protects me.
Where's my Blood Knight? No, really, where's my Blood Knight? Yeah, okay. This is more rushy. I was looking for the Blood Knight, but I guess we're just going to control here.
Here we go. I thought.
standard. Start at turn 3. Play. So this is just right now it seems like this warrior is just a solid warrior. He's somebody who is very.
I fight.
I guess the word is just sort of uses good high value creatures. You know, and it's just not. It's sort of just a beefy warrior deck is all. So I'm just going to control here, and just try to put some aggression on the table myself. As far as I can stand it, the Acidic Swamp Ooze will stay in my hand, but it's not going to be. If I don't get something else to play this turn, then it's going down, I guess.
What now?
Oh, perfect. Perfect. What I'd really love is for him to not use that, but I assume he will, yeah. Pop the shield and armor up. So, I take that to mean he doesn't really have very much in his hand. Maybe that's a silly assumption.
Here we go. Join
Okay, there's the Amani Berserker, which he will not be able to enrage, I suppose? Yep, no, okay. That's a pretty weak turn 5 from this warrior. Yeah, pretty weak turn 5. So this seems to me like a backstab fan of knives, because he's really not being very... doesn't seem like he's going to put a plethora of creatures on the board, so I'm not worried about doing this. And the temptation is to eviscerate him in the face. It is a strong temptation, but I'm actually going to keep them as... I'm going to keep them as tools, because I don't really have a good handle on what this deck is. What it really looks like to me is actually just a bad draw for him, so it could be any number of things. It looked aggressive, but now it looks very lame for an aggressive deck, to be honest. Oh, okay. He's going to keep on armoring up. He's just going real slow, and so I'm glad I kept the Eviscerate. Yep. I don't actually think it's worth playing Thalnos. I mean, I could, in place of the Argent Squire, just be more mana efficient, I suppose, but I think we're going to keep him for something more surprising later. This is exactly the sort of game, this is a rare game because I think that he just really doesn't have any tools here, but it's exactly the sort of game that you like with this sort of deck, the ability that you have a hand to control what they have on the table and you continue to put your own stuff on the table, and so your threat continually increases, whereas they can never have something that sticks on the board.
So many options.
Oh, and of course, I say that and forget to end my turn, because I was just so impassioned. I should probably apologize.
Sorry about that.
That's the Canadian coming out in me, of course. Yes, because for those of you who don't know, I am indeed Canadian, if you can't tell from my accent, which I don't think I have much of, but Americans tend to think that I do. Okay, so that again is just another Eviscerate, and it will be a Thalnos Eviscerate. Thalnos Eviscerate SI7. If I could just Eviscerate an SI7 and hide the... and I have no need to play the Thalnos. Yeah, maybe that's not a bad thing to do. It makes him a little bit scared that I have something else in my hand still. Yeah, so Eviscerate, and then SI7.
Ha, this guy's toast.
Join or die. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is in a really good place. This has been a very dominant match for us. To be fair, we don't have any cards, but he is playing so slowly, I don't foresee it being an issue. Maybe this is Ragnaros, and maybe I don't have an answer, and maybe we'll lose. Oh, okay. Probably going to control with that, I would imagine. Yeah. And then use the Fiery War Axe himself to take... Yep. quite a bit. He's really out of options here. It seems that way anyhow. Great, I've got an answer for late game stuff. Yeah. Question is, do I keep it? I think I do have to keep it for an answer, because I just think that it's too. This deck is so weird. I don't want to get caught off guard by like a Ragnaros, and I'm so thoroughly in command right now that I don't really think I have to worry.
Here we go.
I think I will play Thalnos because it will draw his ire, and even though it's not playing a spell or something, it gives me lethal on the board next turn. And if he chooses to kill something, he'll probably kill Thalnos, which will give me a card. A Moral Strike on that, sure.
Back to work.
Right. And so I get a card out of it, which is exactly what I wanted. Head crack, sure. Huh, even better. Head crack for the card, and like such.
Here we go.
And we're just going to ignore the Cruel Taskmaster because he has a single card in his hand and I've got 26 health, and we win next turn because of head crack.
Well played.
That was a strange sort of a deck. It seemed very rushy, but then it just fell apart. I actually feel like he had a very bad draw. Yeah. In any case, great. So, there we go. So this run was primarily wins, and to be fair, the Big Game Hunter actually did not cause a significant amount of those wins. But what did happen... Oh, I'm at 95. That's such a tease. But what did happen is that the Big Game Hunter caused 1 win, and Ragnaros caused potentially 1 win, but didn't actually show up enough to really show. So I think that was just sort of solid gameplay. There were a couple of matches that were really quite tight, and the ones I did lose were not. The one was bad, but the one against the second Mage was frustrating. But and the first one was annoying, but it was close. The rest were quite good. So, all right, yeah. All told, I think that was very good. I think that was well done, and otherwise, yeah. So I think I like the changes. I really do like the Big Game Hunter. I'm not going to implement Ragnaros just yet. There's going to be some more testing to come. So stay tuned for another video in the fairly near future, sometime soonish. But in any case, yeah, I think I'm really liking where this is heading at the moment. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and as always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.